If you thought phishing was limited to toll scams and janky emails from a Nigerian prince, this is a story that might challenge those beliefs. Hi, I'm Trevor Hilligoss with SpyCloud. I want to walk through the takedown of Tycoon 2FA, what it was, why it mattered, and what it should change about how you think about identity security. Tycoon 2FA wasn't your typical phishing kit. It showed up around August 2023 as a Phishing-as-a-Service platform, but it was purpose-built to get around multi-factor authentication. It worked using an adversary-in-the-middle technique, basically acting as a reverse proxy between the victim and legitimate services like Microsoft 365 or Gmail. So, the victim logs in as normal, completes MFA, and Tycoon quietly captures the session cookie in the background. At that point, the attacker doesn't need the password or the second factor anymore. They just replay the session and walk right in. And because it was sold on Telegram, it wasn't limited to a handful of sophisticated actors. It scaled. From SpyCloud's data, that translated into hundreds of thousands of harvested credentials, emails, usernames, passwords, and the majority of victims weren't random consumers. About 80% were tied to corporate accounts. So unlike the toll phishing messages you get almost daily, this wasn't opportunistic. It was targeted at organizations. In early 2026, SpyCloud participated in a coordinated disruption effort involving Europol, Microsoft, and a number of private sector partners. SpyCloud's role in the operation included providing victim intelligence and helping prioritize targets based on what we were seeing in the data. The result? Infrastructure was seized, and the service was significantly disrupted. That's a real big win, but it's not the end of the story. The big takeaway here is pretty simple. MFA by itself is no longer enough. Attacks like this don't break authentication, they go around it. And even after a takedown, the data that was collected, credentials, session cookies, that's still out there. It's still usable. So for defenders, this shifts the focus. You need continuous visibility into exposed credentials. You need to be able to invalidate sessions when something looks off. And you should be moving towards phishing-resistant authentication methods like FIDO2. Because at this point, it's not about whether identity is the perimeter. It's about how well you're actually defending it.